Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm going to tell you about my college application process. First thing is I applied to, and I'm going to Temple University the fall of 2016, and I will be majoring in early childhood education, which is basically just becoming a teacher. So first off, the first thing I did was apply through Temple's Early Action Program, which is this thing that if you send your SAT scores, your application, and your GPA through or before November 5th, you will actually hear back from your college before anybody else that applied after that date. So I sent my application on October 22nd, and I got accepted on January 16th, which wasn't too bad. Compared to my other schools, it's kind of late, but I actually have some friends who have not heard back from Temple yet, which is crazy. Okay, um, my personal experience. So there's this thing called the Common App, which you can actually write out one college application and then pick other colleges that you want to apply to, and the one application will send to all of them. Also, you sometimes have to write an essay for your colleges that you apply to. Thankfully, the Common App, you you only have to write one essay, and that sends to the colleges that require an essay for your application. But I actually applied to Temple without the Common App, so I had to write out my own essay and my own application, which is like the Temple way. Um, but that's about it. My other experiences as applying, the dates were really hard to keep up to because sometimes after you send your application, your high school transcripts will not send until 10 business days after, which does not include weekends. So I sent mine October 22nd, which cut close with the November 5th due date. Okay, so second, the general way of applying. So basically, it's all your personal information, your high school stuff, your grades, your classes. They ask a lot about your parents, which I'm not sure why, but every college application is pretty much the exact same thing, but it always has like one different question or one less question. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder. It really depends on the school and the competitive nature of your college that you're trying to get into. Thankfully, Temple's not that competitive of a school, but it's still really hard. So basically everyone's the same. The essays are always different. There's never one similar essay for each college. Thankfully, the Common App, you would just write one essay, like I said earlier, and send it to all of the colleges that you applied to. So you wouldn't have to write 7 different essays in my case. I only had to write 2, which was one to Temple and one to the Common App. Okay, some tips after my experience would be really to continue or work harder. Join groups and organizations and clubs in high school because colleges really do look at that in the United States. They look at how active you were in your college or what clubs you joined, how many, the sports you played. They really weigh that heavily. Also, another tip is really try hard on your SATs, which is the standardized test that every student has to take. But Temple does have this thing called the test optional, which you would, if you don't like your SAT scores, which I didn't, you can instead of sending your SAT scores, if they're below an 1100, you would write 4 essays and send them to Temple instead. But I, of course, sent my SAT scores. They weren't that bad, but I still didn't like them. So really try hard on your SATs because a lot of colleges do really look at them strongly and weigh their decision on that a lot. Thankfully, Temple is not one of those kind of schools, but it still works out in my case. So I think this is about it. If you have any more questions or I did not go over something enough, you can always message me again and ask me for some help. All right, see ya.